side. He's doing the right thing. He's got his hands where we can see him. The passenger has his hands up on the dash. We can see the hands. And here's where we go into our interaction. And you'll see most officers, when they stand here, they're going to keep a little bit of a distance from the car. They're not going to lean into the car. They're not going to get relaxed. We have a job to do. And first thing we'll say is, do you know why I stopped you? Sir, do you know why I stopped you?
Oh, I'm speeding.
You're the most honest person I've ever stopped. Do you have your license and registration?
I have my license in my back pocket.
Absolutely. What he did was he said he had his license in his back pocket, and he asked if he could get his license out instead of just reaching for it. That makes us nervous when you start just reaching for things on your person, or maybe opening that center console in the car and reaching into it. Absolutely. You know, we want you to talk through this process with us and tell us what's happening. If you have to get something out of the car, out of a glove box, out of the center console, out of your pocket. So, go hand me the license. Thank you, sir. I'll say, I'll be right back with you. And then as you see us walk away, we'll be walking away backwards, because I still want to keep an eye on his hands. I want to keep an eye on his head, make sure he's not bobbing, reaching underneath his seat, doing something. You want to sit still, you want to keep your hands where we can see them, and we will. We'll be right back with you. I'll walk to the car, I'll get on the computer, I'll run his license number. It'll tell me all about him, what he's doing, if he has a previous driving history. So if he's a horrible driver, it'll tell me how many times he's been speeding. And then when I get done with everything, there may be a citation written, and it may just be, I'm going to walk up and say, sir, would you mind slowing down for me today? And just giving him a verbal warning. But I'll reapproach the car and make sure I can, again, visibly see him. Sir, here's your license back.
Thank you.
I appreciate your cooperation. If you could just do me a huge favor, slow down for me. There's a lot of people on the road. We want to make sure they stay safe. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day now.
Thank you.
And as you notice, my partner's over there on the other side. And what she'll do is she'll get out, and she's doing the same thing I'm doing on this side of the car. She's looking in the back, making sure there's nothing hidden back there. There's nothing we need to see. You know, maybe this guy's coming up from Atlanta, he's running drugs, and he's got 5 kilos in the back of his car. You know, there's things we're going to look for. We want to look for weapons, make sure there's no weapons back there. So she's doing the same thing I'm doing on this side, because she may see something from her angle I don't. But she's not there because it's a scary situation we're walking into. We're worried that something's going to happen, as much as I want as many eyes on it as we can so we can keep the situation as safe as possible. So if she's not riding with me and there's a second police car that pulls up, we always want to have a second officer out with us as much as possible. So we don't have 2 police cars there because we think you're a horrible person. We have it there because we don't know you. And we want you to stay safe, and we want the passenger to stay safe. And a lot of times with that second officer coming up next to the other side of the car, again, it's that second set of eyes, and it's helping us as the primary officer on the traffic stop.
So sometimes traffic stops might be done at nighttime, and so you'll see a lot of lights. So those lights are really bright at nighttime, and that is when you'll see the spotlight come on. So as a second officer, you also might see somebody bring out their flashlight, and if you're back there and you see the light flashing through, that's just us making sure that we don't see any guns, or we don't see any kind of knives or drugs. So don't be alarmed if you see a flashlight shining through the car or coming up on you and shining. Just trying to see everything's safe for everybody else. That's another thing that you might see. That's the difference between a daytime stop and a nighttime stop.
And we'll shine that spotlight right through the back window. So it's right there in his rearview mirror, because you can look in your rearview mirror and see what's happening behind you, right?
Yeah.
We want to surprise you. We don't want you to know what's happening behind you. So we'll turn that spotlight on and shine the rearview mirror. So again, we can see as much of the car as we can, as much of the people, and you see as little of us until we get up there to the car. Anything else?
Anybody have any questions about traffic stops? And what you should do and what you shouldn't do?
You should also stay in the car unless they tell you to.
That's a great statement. Unless we walk up to the car and there's a reason we need you to step out of the vehicle, the officers are going to keep you inside, because where are you safest?
Inside.
Inside your vehicle. Because if you're standing outside on the side of the road, could a car come past and hit you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
The officer safety as well.
without a doubt.
Here's a question a lot of people have: is they don't know whether to turn their car off or leave it running.
Probably speed turn.
We're trained to deal with both. A lot of people will turn their car off, and some of them would actually remove their keys. But a lot of people turn them off. Of course, if it's cold and it's 0 degrees outside, and we don't want you to freeze, so we understand that you keep one. But some people do ask whether or not to turn the car off or leave it running.
So that way they can't drive away.
And that's why they turn. A lot of people when they get pulled over, they want to go as smooth as possible as well. They want to make sure that we feel that we're safe. And so the best way for them in their mind to feel that they're safe, they'll turn that car off. And we appreciate that because now we know that this person is willing to cooperate, and it brings us down just a little bit more than whether or not if somebody has their car running, their hands are down here, or their hands are in their pocket. Well, that then elevates us to wonder, well, why are they doing this?
Where the hands are
But
visible.
so when we pull anybody over, it's a two-way thing. So we need help from you, and we're gonna help you the best that we can as well.
And there may be a situation where you don't have everything we asked for. We say driver's license and registration, and you can't find your registration. If while we're back in our car, you do find your registration, we don't want you to open the car door up and walk back to us. We would rather you just hold it out the window just so we can see that you found it. And then we'll walk up to the car and we'll get it from you. Yes, ma'am.
So let's say like you're trying to pull somebody over, but there's not really like a safe way to be pulled over. Like let's say the side of the road is not really a safe way to pull over, but they want to pull over in some parking lot. What do they do to let you know that you're not like trying to run away from them or drive away from the police officer?
Hey, did everybody hear that question? If you didn't, I'll repeat it real quick. She's asked, what do we do if it's a situation where we're driving and we don't find there's a safe place to pull over, and we want to look for a parking lot or we want to look for a well-lit area? We're okay as officers staying behind you for a second or two. Obviously, we want you to slow down. You know, we don't want you looking for that safe parking lot going 45, 55 miles an hour. Let's slow it down. Maybe even turn your hazard lights on to let us know that you've seen us and you're looking for that safe place. We pulled somebody over the other day, and we were coming down Johnston Road, and there's that big bridge there on Johnston Road before you get to Red Robin and everything. So they didn't want to stop on the bridge because they felt it was unsafe. It's a 4-lane area, but still, they didn't feel safe with it. We stayed behind them, they slowed down, and they pulled into the hotel parking lot. And we were completely fine with that. In fact, we were appreciative of that because they were looking out for us as well. So, great question. Yes, ma'am. If we pulled somebody over and they walked away, hey, that's happened. Usually they're not walking though. Usually they're running. We call them jumping runs, where they jump out of the car and they run away from us. And if we're making a traffic stop and we're pulling somebody over, that means there's some type of an investigative process we're going through because we feel that something has gone wrong. Whether they're speeding, whether we've gotten a phone call from a parent who says their child is missing and they ran away, or they don't know where they are, they've been gone for hours, they're in this car, this license plate, and we get behind that car, we run that license plate, we see that it comes back to that car and that person that hasn't been able to be found by their parents, we'll initiate a traffic stop on that. Make sure you guys are okay, or make sure that we can contact the parent and say, hey, we're out with your child now, would you like to come out here? And then we'll wait for the parent to get out there and they can deal with what they have to deal with then. But if you do get out of the car to walk away from us, we're going to walk with you. And if we realize it's a situation where you're confused or you're frustrated that stop just happened, remember to be respectful with us. But if you're walking away, we're going to walk right there with you. We want you to stay in the car though, because if you're in the car, you're safe, right?
Yeah, safe and sound.
So if we do pull you over, don't get out of the car. If somebody does get out of the car and walk away, we're either going to walk with them, or if they're running, we're going to run after them. And I will tell you, even though we carry 25 pounds of gear on us, we're pretty fast. So we usually catch you. What other questions we have? Anything else?
Hey, sir. Right,
Whenever
So he said when we make those traffic stops and we pull people over, sometimes we may have to pat somebody down in the car, or we call it a frisk, because maybe their actions are making that hair stand up on the back of our neck. We use a police term for that. We call it our spidey sense. So when our spidey sense starts tingling, that means we're worried something might not be as right as we're hoping it's going to be. So we may have to pull somebody out of the car and ask them to step out. And if we do, what I'll say is, would you mind stepping out of the vehicle with me? And I may be over here on the passenger side. Yeah, Ryan, be my guinea pig. So I may say, would you mind stepping out of the car? So he steps out of the car. Now, if we're on the side of the road and it's a safe area, we may stay over here on the side of the road. Or we may walk back in between our vehicles, depending on how the traffic area is. If I do have to pat somebody down, it means I'm looking for something specific. Maybe a weapon, maybe drugs, maybe they're telling me they don't have any ID, and I'm pretty sure they've got ID on them because I can see their big wallet bulging in their pocket. But we'll pat them down. So you'll walk up front and I'll show you how to pat down real quick. So if I do have to pat somebody down, here's what it's going to look like. You mind if I pat you down, Ryan? I'm just going to make sure you don't have any weapons or anything on you. So I'll pat down around the arm, and I'll pat down here around the pocket, and I'll say, would you mind turning around for me? Turn around, and again, I'll check. I'll take my hand and I'll run it along the belt line to make sure he doesn't have something there. I'll check his pockets, make sure he doesn't have something in his pockets. And now that I feel safe, and I feel like he's safe because he doesn't have anything on him, I'll be like, Ryan, thank you so much. I appreciate you being cooperative. Would you mind sitting back in the car for me? And then he'll walk back and sit in the car. That's what the pat down looks like. We're going to walk you through that whole process. We're not just going to start patting you down and hitting the side of your legs. We're going to tell you what we're doing as we do it.
Any other question? I think one of those is sometimes somebody might encounter this, and so I just want to go over this with you. Sometimes we're not in these cars. Sometimes we have cars that look like those white cars right there. And they don't have the police signs, they don't have the siren or the lights on top. Those are unmarked cars. Undercover, yep. Undercover vehicles. And matter of fact, our captain pulled over somebody. He has an unmarked SUV. And he pulled somebody over the other day. So if you see a car like this and they have their lights on, they turn lights, you hear a siren, it's the same thing. You want to make sure that you're safe, right? Because nowadays we have people who will imitate us, and they will put lights inside their car just like that, and they'll try to pull people over. If I remember when I was on Third Shift, I tried to pull somebody over right here at Community House and Providence Road West, and I was in this car though, so it would be a but if you're in an area such as that and it's nighttime and you don't feel safe, you can turn your hazard lights, let them know that you acknowledge that they're trying to pull you over. However, if you don't feel safe, you can always self-call 911, say a vehicle's trying to pull me over. Or you can go to a well-lit area, like the gas station. There are Stonecrest where other people are. I know in our division we've had a couple people who have attempted to pull people over with fake lights and fake cars. So also just keep that in mind. Just because you don't stop automatically, but if you put those lights on, those hazard lights on, that will let us know that you know that we're behind you and that you're looking for a safe place to stop. So the most important thing is stopping at a safe place. So even in the broad daylight, and we make a traffic stop on Ray Road, we're trying to pull into a shopping center because Ray Road, they're going 50 miles an hour, and I don't even like to get out on Ray Road when people are going by me going 50 miles an hour. So just remember, safety is the first and foremost, and your safety is just as important to us as it should be to you, right?
Great question. He said it with our body cameras. Do they come on automatically or do we have to turn them on? And the answer to both questions is yes. Anytime we turn our lights and sirens on, it automatically activates our camera. Or if I'm standing out with you and I'm speaking with you, I can reach up here and tap the button twice and my camera will come on. So I can turn it on or our lights and siren can activate it. Also, anytime we turn our taser on, our camera comes on. we have officers now testing their weapons. So when they draw their firearm from their holster, their camera comes on. There's actually a trigger in the bottom of the holster. So there's a lot of technology that's now going into us and keeping us safe, keeping you guys safe, and keep that transparency going.
Technology marches on.